GMGM. Welcome to the Future Finance Freedom podcast, where you get to know about Web3 and cryptos, how the internet and financial system is getting transformed, and here we break it in a simplified way so that you can make your way in this new wave of internet. I'm Rashi, your podcast host, back with another special guest, Kay. She's the Chief Marketing Officer at Fiat24. So, welcome, Kay. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. It's really nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to take the conversation forward. So please introduce yourself and what you do at Fiat24 and a little bit about your background, please.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm based here in Switzerland at the moment, in Zurich, but that's not where I'm originally from. I grew up mostly in the US and I lived in London, and now I've been here for almost 10 years. My background is actually from like traditional or web to advertising and marketing. And I started my journey into DeFi and crypto at the beginning of last year as Fiat24 was looking for a new marketing person. And as I started to learn more about DeFi and Web3 decentralization, I became so interested in all of these topics. So yeah, I joined and it seemed to be quite a good fit. And just to give you a quick overview of what we do, um, we are a Swiss regulated bank with actually a very big difference to all of the other kind of banks in the world. So we are run by protocols in the way that we book all of our payment transactions on the blockchain, specifically on Arbitrum, and all of the banking logics that we have are controlled by smart contracts. I think another way in which we are quite radical is that the e-banking that we offer is in the form of a decentralized app or a DApp. And the key to your e-banking is through an NFT instead of your traditional login and password details that you would get with any other bank. So what it means for people is that you can open a Swiss offshore bank account with us, and you
Mm-hmm.
can convert crypto into fiat money and then transfer the money into your own bank account, or just spend with our Visa debit card, which just came out recently in June. So yeah, that's a little bit of an intro to me and what we're doing.
Great, great, great. That's amazing. So, before we move forward, I would like to do a quick 5 to 6 rapid fire questions. It's all relating to Web3 so that I know you better and audience know you much better. So, let's start it. Are you ready, Kay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would you choose out of all these two combos, BTC or ETH?
What would I choose? I prefer Ethereum just because I like more the technology behind it. I think the ecosystem is just huge. There's so much
Okay.
power to it. I think Bitcoin, like as we know, has been compared to the equivalent of digital gold, and it has its value certainly. But I think to me, crypto is far and DeFi is far more interesting than just Bitcoin.
Great, great, great. FOMO or JOMO? Like JOMO is joy of missing out.
FOMO. I think it's just the way that it happens, right? By the time you saw anything about Pepe, it's already too late. And you just think, wow, if only I'd seen this last week, or if only I'd just taken a quick chance, you know.
Right, right. So NFTs or altcoins?
NFTs are all the way for me. NFTs are definitely the future.
Great. Fiat or fries?
Fiat.
Okay. Trader or investor?
Investors.
Or low cap gems or meme coins?
I like meme coins sometimes. They're entertaining.
Great, great. Yeah, like wild ride, they give us quick pump dumps. Great, great. So yeah, like let's begin. Like as we see the current state of market, like it's been quite few months, or you can say been 2022 and 2023's like we are in quarter 3 of 2023, and we have been going through like huge you can say scams and all those like FTX and Luna, all those. So it's been quite few some time we have been continuing in the bear market. So what are your opinions on the current state of the market?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty rough year. I would say one of the biggest things
Hmm.
has been Binance. Actually, I just read that recently some of their customers in the EU were blocked from withdrawing euros.
Hmm.
And we all know like that they're facing problems in the US and in other countries. I think that is a kind of a big signal and making people a little bit cautious. And at the same time, I think, like with the US trying to, well, try to figure out how to regulate things, it's also impacted the market sentiment over the past year. I think overall we've seen it's been quite volatile. Perhaps we are still in a bear market, even though things are looking a little bit up, especially with Bitcoin. But I think it's still a very exciting time to be in crypto. I think all of us are still excited to see what comes before the end of the year. And definitely one other news which has been so cool is about PayPal and their stablecoin
Hmm.
that they're also going to roll out now in Venmo. And the more that these big players or big e-commerce or like these kind of guys start to introduce this technology, it's only good news for all of us because it means more and more people will get in touch with this with crypto. So
Yeah, so like everyone all around the crypto and Web3 is waiting for the big institutions and BTC ETF approvals. So we are all waiting for those some positive news to pump the markets, right? Right.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So, like, as we are in the beer market, so how do you bring in more users to this current state, or you can say in this beer market, and what marketing strategies or campaigns you have been using to onboard new customers, you can say that have been proven successful in attracting users to your wallet and overall broader DeFi ecosystem?
Yeah, so I think because I have worked in kind of Web 2 or traditional marketing before, I've realized that doing marketing in Web 3 is radically different. So, first of all, partnerships in Web
Mhm.
3 are so important. I don't think it's something that you can do by yourself, especially at the beginning or in the early stages when you are trying to build your community. It's really important to work to yeah, like to work with other companies, like maybe even to try to do some airdrops or to combine like your kind of project offerings together. That's been very helpful for us. And also education, I think, is really important. We shouldn't underestimate that even like the more degen or nerdy guys, like even they would need some kind of help or some documentation or
Hmm.
some like guides on how to get started because every protocol is so different and we still have this interoperability problems between different chains. So education and partnerships are really important. And finally, I would say also to ensure that everything that you're building is really intuitive for people to use. Because for now, I know everyone complains that the UX and Web3 and DeFi is
Broken.
so cumbersome. But I
Hmm.
think having an open communication with the people that do use your app and your services is important so that you can learn and make it better. So yeah, it's a multi-level thing, I would say.
Great, great.
But yeah, for sure, communication, like, and having this direct contact with your user base is
Hmm.
also something quite different than what we see in Web 2 marketing, where there's often a barrier. Whereas in
Hmm.
Web 3, we use platforms like Discord and Telegram, which are more for like chatting, so people can really talk to you one on one, and that makes a big difference.
Great, great. So yeah, like I feel partnerships are going at good pace. Like different protocols are partnering with each other, like to make the infrastructure better and provide better, good infrastructure. But I feel like most of the protocols lack in educating their users.
Hmm.
Like they just put out the announcements on Twitter and we are doing this, we are doing that. But where they lack is simplifying what exactly they are building and how this is going to solve the problem. So education is the core point that we need to focus on.
Hmm.
I completely agree. So like after you onboard those users or maybe you can say new customers to your DeFi product, so what is the you can say sustainable point that comes next, like when you onboard the users, so what further steps DeFi protocols use to sustain those users?
Yeah. So in our case specifically, because we do offer Visa crypto debit
Mm-hmm.
card, um, when it comes to cards, we all know about cashback and referral programs, and that's something that we will also introduce very soon. So for that genre of business, I think it's definitely a good way to retain your customers.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I think Web3 is like quite different because I think we get this kind of access to founders that you just don't have in like Web2 or like kind of more old school traditional companies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go on Twitter on any given day, you can
Mm-hmm.
probably find like a webinar, a podcast, a Twitter space with like the high level people of projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's super cool and it's really important, especially in a space that we are rife with scams and hacking and all of these security breaches. It's really people want that kind of connection to like see that the team behind the project is quite visible. So that's definitely also something we need to do. And also, I would not underestimate like having channels in Discord or having a Telegram group where you collect feedback from your users, where you just let them talk and get immediate access to help, because that's also not just a way for you to keep the users, but it's also a way for you to improve what you offer in your services. So every time that you get feedback, it's a
Mm-hmm.
way for you to go back to your UX team and implement those changes to make it better.
Yeah, I agree, completely agree on this point of feedback. Like, what I feel is when be it any DeFi protocol or NFT community, so when there's a community building, so we can see community as the muscle behind the company or the product that we are building, and there's a power in that community, and we should leverage that and not
Mhm.
just you can say outreach that to just keep building and keep building. Feedback is the most important point because
I agree.
like
Hmm.
many of the projects just going and going, so this is good. So like
Hmm.
when it comes to educating potential users or you can say potential customers to the protocol, so what do you think about the DeFi protocols for the users or the potential customers, the protocols that need to more focus on?
Well, I think first of all, we need to think that if we ever do want to become mainstream and bring in all of the Web2 people who maybe aren't so technologically savvy into our world, we have to start documenting things and working on some good articles, like to get people onboarded more easily, to give them the like step by step of how to do it and the video tutorials, because otherwise we'll never get there. And second of all, I would say know everything, and every protocol, every service is so different. And like just when you're trying to connect or use something, you have to figure out like what chain it's on, what wallet you should use, what tokens you need to have. It's complicated even for people who work in this sector. So I don't think we should underestimate how important it is. And for me, I think when I'm one of the first things that I look at is to see how good their documentation is. And I have to say, there are some companies who are doing it really well. And I'm also happy to see that there is a lot going on Twitter where people are sharing really like important threads or writing articles or even sharing videos to help people learn. So I think it's really important, especially so that people don't make big errors or lose
Mhm.
money, and to help people stay safe in the space.
Yeah. So, when it comes to educating your user or maybe onboarding your user, so what do you think? Like, most of the protocols or most of the Web3 projects are just doing rash marketing on just crypto Twitter, and like it's been like just trending crypto Twitter. So, what do you think capturing other socials when it comes to marketing or onboarding?
Well, I mean, I think if you're in the crypto or
Mm-hmm.
Web3 world, you will mostly be hanging around on Twitter and Discord or Telegram. But I've seen a lot of companies, and we also have one ourselves, is that they have their own blog where they go like more into depth. There's also YouTube. I think those are some really good places where you can find
Mm-hmm.
more resources to learn more.
Yeah. So like I think like more of the blogs or more of the video part should be focused on, as like
Yeah. Hmm.
some projects, as I see, they just publish blogs of their partnerships, like exchanging logos or doing partnerships, but they don't just simplified actually what they're building. So this should be the focus while getting out the content published, like making the complex terms in a simplified way and explaining it in a blog is a good way, I think so.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So as you're working with Fiat24, so they make crypto spendings with Visa and other Mastercards easier in a day-to-day life. So how this is contributing to adoption of the DeFi landscape?
Yeah, I think, well, if you've been in this space for a while, you've seen over the past couple of years that, well, digital currency, I think, has captured more and more
Hmm.
mainstream attention. But especially when we look at conversations around fintech and banking, I think as we've seen now, like with the US government especially, like there is such a massive focus
Hmm.
on it. So obviously they see it as a kind of threat. But I think there is also like the potential issuance of central bank digital currencies, which are interesting. And there are many financial institutions around the world who are looking for ways to leverage, this kind of interest in crypto
Hmm.
so that they can provide new products and solutions for their customers. Stable coins, I think they make it easier to access and move dollars around the world.
Hmm.
Um, so that's something, of course, like, so I think we are seeing this big interest anyway. But in terms of like crypto payments, I think that crypto platforms will become more integrated into the
Hmm.
existing payments ecosystem, because we already are starting to see more Visa credentials, like, being incorporated into wallets, and already starting to see
Hmm.
more people, having expressing the interest to easily convert crypto into fiat money. And as we've all seen, like Visa and MasterCard are both, you know, they are big players and they continue
Hmm.
to explore different partnerships in crypto. And I think that can only help with mass adoption, because if you have a chance to easily convert crypto to fiat money
Hmm.
and then spend anywhere that Visa is
Right,
accepted, which
right.
is like all around the world, it's huge. So at Fiat24, we're really proud to be part of this ecosystem, and it will surely change because I'm sure it's really coming soon.
Great, great. So like Visa and Mastercard like are more into like helping crypto landscape, or you can say DeFi landscape, for the off ramping on and on ramping of the, you can say, crypto assets. So
Hmm.
that's a really great point that they're helping the adoption. So
Yeah.
like at the end, like what would be your advice, or you can say what would be your few points, who is just getting started into the Web3 space or crypto space? So what would you advise, like how to enter and how to learn and scale the things?
Yeah, I would say there are a lot of great resources. So, on one hand, you could learn theoretically or hypothetically how things work by reading articles. There's Investopedia is really good. They have
Hmm.
really simple explanations. And if you prefer to watch videos, I think there are also a lot of good educational ones. But if you want to really learn, I would say best way to learn is by doing. And that means like opening a wallet. I wouldn't deposit more than $5 or $10 in there if you don't really know what you're doing. But I would just start with a wallet and start reading about the different kind of tokens out there, see which one sounds interesting to you. And before you go deeper, I would say it's also good to join communities because that's another way that you will really be able to learn is through meeting other people, listening to their conversations, and talking to them too. So I think there are many ways, but I definitely personally am in favor of learning by doing because you can read a lot. I mean, there's so much to read, but until you actually do it, I think it might be, I mean, a difficult concept to understand. I don't think blockchain and DeFi is very
Theoretical.
simple, yeah. But I mean, everything is possible if you're
Hmm.
interested.
Yeah, so like I also like suggest this, like this is the new internet getting transformed, and we are getting into the new wave of internet. So the more you learn by doing, the better it is. Like we have to make our hands dirty by doing the different transactions, swapping on dexes or using multiple wallets. So this is the key, like to learn by doing and
Mhm.
make your hands dirty in the space. So yeah, it was nice talking to you, Kay, and
You
hope you
too.
enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so thank you so much, and I appreciate you for making the time to get on the podcast, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.